Chapter 853, Dueling Feng Huang, 1/4. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. A revival method? Fang Yuan's eyes narrowed. A clear change appeared in his expression. Spirit Affinity House was truly worthy of being one of the 10 great ancient sects of Central Continent. Its foundation was deep beyond imagination. Fang Yuan had painstakingly searched for a way to get rid of his immortal zombie status and revive, and Spirit Affinity House actually had a way. At this moment, when Feng Huang placed this method as the wager, it directly touched upon Fang Yuan's core interests, making him unable to refuse. Ha ha ha! Fang Yuan laughed, restraining his agitated mood as he looked at Feng Huang. Tell me, this method would not be a mortal crane sex possession technique, right? Of course not. Feng Huang smiled indifferently. I am indeed interested in your wager, but this wager is still far from matching my Hu immortal blessed land. The value of all things vary. Fang Yuan, if you were given the choice of either Hu immortal blessed land or revival, which would you choose? Of course it would be reviving. Fang Yuan chose with no hesitation inwardly, while also speaking with no hesitation. Of course it would be Hu immortal blessed land. This is my biggest foundation. Even though I have become an immortal zombie, I can maintain a good living by relying on it. Feng Huang's lips twitched as she shook her head, softening her tone. Fang Yuan, you are not likely to be such a short-sighted person. But I know you won't put Hu immortal blessed land as your wager, and I also cannot forcibly demand you to do so. Let's talk about something more practical. If I lose, I will tell you the method of revival. You can rest assured that this method already has a successful precedent. But if you lose, we can undergo transactions. Fang Yuan looked at Feng Huang's slight smile and confident appearance. He narrowed his eyes and asked, what transactions? Feng Huang replied, if you lose, you need to make a deal with Spirit Affinity House to supply guts goo for the long term. The price can be discussed as long as it doesn't overstep the limit, but you must deliver them in time and in adequate quantity. If you lack souls, Spirit Affinity House will sell them to you, and the price will even be 30% lower than the market price. These transactions must take precedence, even over those of Immortal Crane Sect. No matter how many guts goo you have, you must first supply them to Spirit Affinity House before selling to other places. Hearing this, Fang Yuan could not help but look at Feng Huang in a different light again, having a completely new opinion in regards to this young girl in front of him. He had not expected her to mature to this degree in just this period of time. As expected of a genius. No, rather than that, it should be said that she has capable people behind her and was educated well. Feng Huang's demand, as far as Fang Yuan was concerned, was truly lenient and could even be said to be too generous. But guts goo, to Feng Huang, was an urgent need. The reason, Feng Huang could explore dream realms with Dream Wing's immortal goo. Even with the help of the immortal goo, her soul would still feel weakened and could be injured. Guts goo was among the highest quality soul strengthening method in the whole world. Even Spectral Soul Demon Venerable had praised it. Feng Huang had originally challenged Fang Yuan out of juvenile temperament. It was an action taken in a fit of anger. But right now, the discussion about wagers with Fang Yuan was based on the present situation. It was practical and also concerned benefits. This was a mature action. If Feng Huang had asked Fang Yuan to put Hu Immortal Blessed Land or Donghun Mountain as the wager, Fang Yuan definitely would not agree. Oh, and although Fang Yuan was using Immortal Crane Sect's name, the relation between him and Immortal Crane Sect was well known by all the 10 great ancient sects. Fang Yuan absolutely had no qualms in regards to Immortal Crane Sect's reputation and would definitely agree to Feng Huang's duel with this. Thus, Feng Huang made this request. To Fang Yuan, selling guts goo to Spirit Affinity House naturally had its benefits. The first benefit was he could increase the sales volume, earning much more immortal essence stones. Who would not like having more immortal essence stones? The second benefit was that Fang Yuan would have a connection to Spirit Affinity House. If one day he fell out with Immortal Crane Sect, he would have an alternative path. In fact, Fang Yuan's original intention in accepting Feng Jin Huang's challenge had been to cooperate with Spirit Affinity House. As Feng Jin Huang explored the dream realm multiple times, she realized the value of Guts Gu and wanted to obtain some of the benefits from Immortal Crane Sect. And Fang Yuan was also willing to do this. If he truly reached a deal with Spirit Affinity House, it would also be extremely helpful to him in managing his relationship with Immortal Crane Sect. Regardless of victory or loss, this duel is beneficial to me. Anyway, the result of the duel has nothing to do with the competition. Eh? Something is wrong. Her request is also to lower my will to fight. Fang Yan suddenly had a realization and understood another layer of intention behind this move from Feng Jin Huang. Let's start then. The final winner of this contest will be me. Fang Yuan's eyes shined brightly as he laughed heartily. Feng Jin Huang's gaze flashed. That is not for certain. The wagers were set. Both sides began to discuss of the contents of this duel. Feng Jin Huang suggested refining River Wave Trace Gu as the task. River Wave Trace Gu was a rank 5 Water Path Gu worm, and formed a series with rank 3 Water Trace Gu, rank 4 Wave Trace Gu, and rank 6 Worldly Wave Trace Immortal Gu. Fang Yuan immediately refused. Spirit Affinity House specialized in cultivating and using Water Path Gu worms. This could be seen from the Immortal Gu House, Water Pavilion. If the task was set to refine River Wave Trace Gu, Feng Jin Huang's advantage would be too big. Fang Yuan suggested refining Blood Steps Gu. This was a rank 3 Blood Path Movement type Gu worm. Feng Jin Huang also refused outright. What a joke! Who did not know Fang Yuan was proficient in Blood Path refinement techniques, and Feng Jin Huang did not have confidence in refining Blood Path Gu. The two discussed for a while before finally settling on a rank 5 Fire Path Gu worm, 5 orifices Fire Pagoda Gu, and it would be done in a martial duel. The duel would not be private, but be a completely open contest like the Refinement Path Convention. Soon, similar materials appeared in front of the two sides. To maintain fairness, both sides were provided with the same Gu recipe. The winner would be the side that could successfully refine 5 orifices. Fire Pagoda Gu first. Unlike the previous contest, because it was in the martial duel format, whenever they reached a specific stage, both refiners would have a chance to attack each other once. Under everyone's gaze, Fang Yuan and Feng Jin Huang sat opposite each other, each occupying an end of the stage, with a gap of around 260 steps between them. Before the duel began, Fang Yuan immediately inspected the refinement materials. He needed to have a complete understanding of every material. If some materials were defective, it would greatly influence the Gu refinement. Fang Yuan checked very carefully. Sometimes the task organizers would intentionally supply some defective materials and even tamper with them so the defects are hidden, causing the Gu master to not be able to easily detect them. If they were truly deceived, it would cause quite a problem when refining the Gu. This arrangement had practical significance. Usually when refining Gu, Gu masters would not always be able to gather perfect refinement materials. Sometimes there would be some damage because the materials might have been stored for too long, or perhaps damaged when being transported or seized in battles. Or there might be substandard refinement materials sold in the market, which would have to be distinguished by the Gu master themselves. Thus, inspecting Gu refinement materials was a part of refinement path attainment. In this duel of refining 5 orifices Fire Pagoda Gu, the convention supplied as many as 1,000 types of materials. There was not a single Gu worm. They were all grass, flowers, stones, bones, and so on. Fang Yuan inspected all the materials using an entire hour. Afterwards, he inspected the Gu recipe provided by the convention. There were altogether 5 Gu recipes, rank 1 single aperture charcoal Gu, rank 2 double orifice stove Gu, rank 3 3 orifices fire hut Gu, rank 4 4 orifices fire tower Gu, as well as rank 5 5 orifices Fire Pagoda Gu. These 5 Gu worms were a series, sharing the same origin. The first step in refining 5 orifices. Fire Pagoda Gu was to refine large numbers of rank. 1 single orifice charcoal Gu, then using the single orifice charcoal Gu as the main materials to refine double orifice stove Gu. From rank 1 to rank 2, rank 2 to rank 3, rank 3 to rank 4, and then from rank 4 to rank 5, finally refining 5 orifices, fire pagoda goo. It was because there were many steps and the process was cumbersome. Both sides were provided with 1,000 types of goo refinement materials. With Feng Yuan's wisdom path methods, he could modify the goo recipe and cut down on some steps of the goo refinement process. He could even directly refine 5 orifices fire pagoda goo with the materials provided. However, after some thought, Feng Yuan gave up on the idea and decided to move step by step. There were many reasons. First, he was unable to rely on wisdom goo here. Second, modifying goo recipes took a lot of time, and there would only be more losses than gains. Moreover, this was a martial duel. Both sides could attack 5 times in total to disturb the goo refinement. If a goo recipe to refine it directly was used, once the process was disturbed, the previous efforts would be wasted. It was more stable to move step by step. While Feng Yuan was inspecting the goo refinement materials, Feng Huang was checking the goo recipes. While Feng Yuan was inspecting the goo recipes, Feng Huang meticulously checked the refinement materials. The order was different, but when they started the goo refinement, it was almost at the same time. They have finally begun. They used up over an hour to inspect the materials and the goo recipes. They are really patient. This contest concerns the face of Immortal Crane Sect and Spirit Affinity House. It is a battle of reputation of 2 of the ancient sects. The spectators started talking. Some were in favor of Feng Huang, while some thought highly of Feng Yuan. There were also 2 factions that had formed in the audience. The numerically greater disciples of Spirit Affinity House were in a mutual showdown of glaring with Immortal Crane Sect's disciples. The elders leading Immortal Crane Sect's group had ugly expressions. Feng Yuan had placed Guts Goo as the wager without reporting to the higher-ups of Immortal Crane Sect, and they were not feeling good about this. At first, Feng Yuan and Feng Huang's refinement techniques were the same. During this process, Feng Yuan used his skilled refinement techniques to gradually surpass Feng Huang, progressing faster and slowly obtaining a slight lead. After all, Feng Yuan had the practical experience of his previous life. While even though Feng Huang used Immortal Goo to explore the dream realm and improve her refinement path attainment quickly, she still lacked tempering in putting them to practice. To catch up to Feng Yuan, Feng Huang used a refinement path killer move. Double action! Her hands trembled, and the lump of fire she was maintaining suddenly split into 2, forming 2 fire lumps. Refinement path killer, move small wishful hand. 2 small and compact hands flew out of Feng Huang's mind, completely formed from will, emitting a jade luster. Feng Huang's 2 hands constantly regulated and controlled the intensity and the temperature of the 2 fire lumps, while the 2 small wishful hands grabbed materials and threw them into the fire. Wonderful! Using 2 killer moves consecutively. Feng Huang is well prepared. Now her speed is much faster than that of Feng Yuan. Clamorous discussions were being exchanged between the spectators.